Awesome. So great to see all of you. Really glad that you came to join us, and we want to keep this conversation going. I'm Eugene Scott, a host here at Axios Live, and right now we want to give a big thanks to our sponsor, Save the Children, for their partnership to make this event possible. And so to learn more about what it is that they're doing, I'm going to welcome to the stage right now the special advisor to the Save the Children president and founder of the Save the Children Action Network, Mark Shriver. So great to see you again.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
I know
Although that's a tough act to follow.
But I was thinking about you the whole time because she talked about so many issues that you've been working on. So we're going to talk about them a bit here. Awesome. So we know that this is the 10th anniversary of the Save the Children Action Network. Congrats to you all.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a bit about why Save the Children created SCAN and what the last 10 years have achieved?
So when you heard Representative Delors talk about was political will. And for 20 years, I've been working on the issue of early childhood education. Save the Children has been working on it. And 10 years ago, we decided that, it's kind of this bobblehead where everybody tells you you're doing God's work and you're doing wonderful work. But when push comes to shove, we're not investing in this country in those first 5 years of life. And what we decided was that we needed a political advocacy arm associated with Save the Children, which had been around for almost 100 years. So SCAN, Save the Children Action Network, is that political advocacy arm, has 400,000 plus people across the United States mobilizing, sending emails to Representative Delors, but also to state capitals, to governors, trying to mobilize people. Poor kids and kids in general, obviously, but poor kids don't vote, and they don't make political contributions. So when Representative Delors is talking about the fact that these issues have come to the forefront, they have, but to get them over the goal line and to continue to push them, you need a political advocacy arm, and that's what SCAN is. It's bipartisan and supports both Republicans and Democrats who are good on early childhood education. We just did a recent poll that talks about the issue of early childhood education and food, SNAP benefits, and we found all across the country that Republicans and Democrats and independents support these issues. They support politicians who will support investing in our young children, making sure they're well educated when they enter kindergarten, and that they're well fed. So it's crazy that as a country we can't invest and make these investments, but we need more people like Representative Delors, like some of the governors across the country, both Republicans and Democrats, to make these investments and have the political guts, frankly, to do it.
So I want to hear more about that poll. Did you find anything that was surprising to you all or that you think would surprise the crowd here?
Well, I think the thing that we found is that it has brought both early childhood education and making sure that SNAP is reauthorized and that children are fed in this country has broad bipartisan support. A lot of people talk about, it's going to be urban or it's going to be suburban, but it's suburban and urban and rural. It's Republicans, it's Democrats, it's independent. That's kind of the surprise. And people will vote they say they will vote for politicians who invest in those issues. And, if you look around, Governor Polis in Colorado, Governor Lujan Grisham in New Mexico, Governor Scott in Vermont, Republicans and Democrats who have made this a really important issue on the state level have been reelected and reelected with really strong majorities. Governor Raimondo in Rhode Island when she was governor, that was a big issue for her. So you can look around the country, Governor Newsom in California, Governor Inslee in Washington State. These are all places where Save the Children Action Network has worked with elected officials and have seen success. Just haven't been able to really push it as hard as we want to or get it across the goal line in Washington, D.C.
So much about the conversation related to childhood poverty is focused on cities, but you all focus a lot, if not mostly, on rural America. And can you talk a bit about what you learned about the issues related to childhood poverty that are unique to rural America?
Yeah, Save the Children has been in rural America since the days of the Depression. Actually, the work that they did in the 20s was a precursor to the federal lunch program. And our niche, if you will, has always been in that rural space. The advocacy work, Save the Children Action Network, has folks from urban, suburban, all across the country. So we're all 50 states, working with people of all different political persuasions. But Save the Children, the actual implementation of those services happens in rural America. And it is different than it is in urban or suburban areas. You have economies of scale, public infrastructure, public transportation that you don't have in rural America. And rural America, frankly, has felt, and I think with some justification, overlooked by political leadership, especially in the Democratic Party. And I don't think that's the way it should be or the way it could be. They respond to those issues of early childhood education. They're faced with child care crisis and child care deserts, food deserts as much as any other part of the country, and in many cases worse. So there's a lot of work to be done there. And I think the Democratic Party should really look at and make more inroads there and make more of an effort. There's a lot of support, especially for those two issues. The one SCAN, Save the Children Action Network, has been working on and pushing for the last 10 years.
What are some of the specific policy solutions that you think could fix some of these problems?
So we just heard from Congresswoman DeLauro about the child tax credit. We've been pushing on that, increased investment in Head Start, high-quality early childhood education. I mean, Eugene, there's this very famous report that came out by Jim Heckman at the University of Chicago. It won the Nobel Prize, right? Okay. And University of Chicago is not exactly a liberal institution. And he looked at what is the best public investment you can make, the best ROI in taxpayer dollars. And it is investing in high-quality early childhood education. It's making sure it's high quality, but making that investment in those first 5 years of life. There's like 90% of brain growth happens in the first 5 years of life, yet as a country, we invest almost no money until kids enter kindergarten. Some a little bit in pre-K, but the home visiting programs, high-quality Head Start, are just substantially underfunded. Head Start's reaching somewhere around 30% of the kids that are eligible for it. So when Congresswoman DeLauro talks about, moving the ball forward, it's because we don't have the guts as a country to invest in a population that can't vote and that doesn't give money. When she talks about Social Security under FDR, the reason that happened is because senior citizens vote. They should vote in record numbers. You don't see poor kids voting in record numbers because they can't. But we've just ignored that population. We've forgotten about them in cities and in the suburbs, and especially in rural America. And that's why Save the Children and Save the Children Action Network are pushing so hard on this.
Are you pretty hopeful or optimistic based on the conversations you're having right now that maybe in the next 4 years some of these can move forward?
I think we got really close under President Biden. Didn't get it across the goal line. But I guess I'm eternally optimistic. There's a lot of work to do. And you heard it from Representative DeLauro. You got to push. You got to push some more, and you can never stop pushing. I mean, politics is a contact sport, right? You got to get in the arena. It's the old Teddy Roosevelt line that the credit belongs not to the critic who's on the sideline, but to the person who's in the arena who's getting bloodied and beaten up. And that's what we're doing. We're trying to mobilize. Save the Children Action Network is mobilizing people all across the country who are fed up with not investing in our most valuable resource. Everybody says it's children. And then when push comes to shove, they don't invest. And it's BS, man. It's just, it's like really irritating. I hope this isn't going live or anything like that. But, it's ridiculous. We talk about it, but we don't put the political willpower behind it.
And as your poll found, like most Americans agree with you that this is BS and it's something that can be fixed.
I'm glad you said it. Yeah, it's true, and it can be fixed. And we know what works. We know high-quality home visiting works. We know that high-quality Head Start works. We know that investing in those first 5 years of life, pre-birth, right through those first 5 years of life when there's huge brain growth. Anybody who's watching this, who has a little kid, knows it works. But we don't want to pay for it. And, it's just, it's frustrating. And Rosa DeLauro said she's been working on it for 20, 30 years. Senator Dodd, her former boss, working on it for longer than that. So there are people working on it. Congressman Cole from Oklahoma, Republican in charge of the Appropriations Committee, cares about this issue. But we need more effort. We need more political leadership here in the Democratic Party in Chicago. And I'm hopeful, that it's going to change on the federal level. Yeah, we got a lot of work to do, though.
Awesome. So my final question is, what are the key takeaways you want the audience to leave here with?
I want them to talk to their elected officials. If they're staff, I want them to talk to their members. I want them to realize that there is bipartisan support for this. People will actually vote if your boss, your friend, your colleague cares about these issues and is willing to stand up for it, for early childhood education, those first 5 years of life, for making sure that children in this country are fed, that SNAP is reauthorized, and that those benefits are extended to children in the richest country in the history of the world are going to bed hungry. I mean, if that doesn't burn a hole in your pants, I don't know what will. But the fact that we are not doing that and not caring enough to make that investment, I hope people will think about that, and they'll push their member, whether, again, it's a senator or a congressman or on the state level. And elected officials are getting reelected on this issue, and it's exciting. Got a lot of work to do, though, Eugene.
Awesome. Well, we're glad you came to talk to us about the work you're doing, and we hope everyone here left knowing that this is something you all are passionate about and ways that they can get involved as well. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you.